Hey guys, this is one, two, three things for this week. And the first thing I want to talk to you about today, thing number one, is Back to Church Sunday, which is coming up on September 25th. Let me tell you just a little bit about that Sunday from 11 to about 2 o'clock that day. We're going to have lots of stuff going on outside. There's going to be a dunking booth, which Pastor Phil is going to be in. There's going to be a giant slide for the kids. A couple of our community groups are going to be doing cornhole tournaments. Even heard that one of our community groups is going to be hosting some kind of giant Yahtzee game. There'll be some other stuff going on for kids. We're going to serve hot dogs and chips and sodas and waters. There'll be a free pumpkin patch, maybe some face painting going on, and just lots of fun stuff going on that Sunday. Also on that Sunday, we're going to kick off a new sermon series called League of Judges, which is kind of a takeoff on the Justice League. We're going to be spending 4 Sundays looking at one Sunday at Deborah, one Sunday at Gideon, one Sunday at Jephthah, and one Sunday at Samson, all the sort of the four major stories from the book of Judges. And we have the absolute coolest sermon series graphic to introduce to you for that series. Hopefully there'll be some posters with that going up soon. It was specially designed for us by a comic cartoon artist who also works for the seminary, and it is so absolutely awesome. So be aware of Back to Church Sunday. Be thinking about who you're going to invite. Be praying for who you're going to invite. And be praying that the Father uses that Sunday in as mighty a way in people's lives this year as he did last year. So thing number one is Back to Church Sunday. Thing number two is the Kids Zone. And I just want to encourage you to take some time to say thanks to Penny Mansur, our children's ministry director, and her husband Jay, who helps her out in the Kids Zone most every week. Penny serves on our staff voluntarily and just gives of herself so freely, and Jay also helping her out on Sunday mornings and throughout the week. They sow important seeds, and we got to see an example of that just a few weeks ago. After church, we were sitting down at our kitchen table to eat lunch together, and Kira asked Thaddeus, our almost 4-year-old, what he had learned in the Kids Zone. And he recounted in his own sort of almost 4-year-old way the story of Jonah and told us that it's not good to run away from Jesus. So we're personally thankful for the seeds that Penny and Jay are sowing into our kids, and I know many of you with kids are too. So just make sure you take a minute to say thanks to them on Sunday morning for all that they do. For our kids at GCF, we've been having around 60 to 65 kids, nursery age and elementary school age and preschool age in the back. So they've also had their hands full and are still just doing such an awesome job giving of themselves. So make sure you tell Penny and Jay thanks when you see them this weekend. So thing one is Back to Church Sunday. Thing two is the Kids Zone and saying thanks to Jay and Penny. And that brings me to thing number three, which is facility stuff. As you know, right now we're meeting in the 300 North Lexington building, which we're actually leasing from the seminary for a year or two longer. And some of you over the summer have asked, well, what's going on in terms of a more permanent facility for GCF? Well, over the last few months, we've looked at a couple of other options here in Wilmore, buildings that we thought might be available. Those options have not become available, so we have proceeded now with meeting with a couple of contractors and soliciting bids for building a simple worship warehouse kind of structure here on the property that we are on. And I'm just mentioning this morning because I want you to know we're not sort of resting on our laurels on this. We are looking into it. We are proceeding. And as we continue through this process, of course, the elders will be looking at different things and the deacons will be looking at different things to make sure we have all of the input that we need. And so we're moving toward having some kind of permanent facility. But in talking about that, and this is so important, guys, when we talked with a consultant back in January about getting into this building process, he was a free consultant to us who's attending GCF while here for seminary. One of the things he encouraged us is that in helping so many churches build buildings, he said those churches lost sight of what God had called them to be about, and they became focused on that structure. And that's one of the reasons we kind of re-examined and retooled our mission statement as a church. And so we're looking into these facilities things, but those facilities things are not our goal. And so as the lead pastor, and I know this is true for everybody who's on staff and it's true for all of our elders, in moving into these facilities things, we don't want to lose sight of the mission that God has given us, which is about inviting people to life in the kingdom of God. And of course, we feel like we need a facility for the long term, but that's not our goal. Our goal is inviting people to life in the kingdom of God. And here's the amazing thing about that. we can invite people to life in the kingdom of God, whether we're meeting at the 300 North Lexington building, whether we're meeting in the ministry center, whether we're meeting in a local school or some other kind of facility. For goodness sake, we could meet in a tent come rain, sleet, snow, or shine. And still be inviting people to life in the kingdom of God. So I don't want us to lose sight of that. God has given us something to do in our community, and that is to introduce people to Jesus so that they can enjoy the life that he makes available to them in his kingdom. So that's 1, 2, 3 things for this week, a little bit longer than the last few weeks. But anyway, I will see you guys in church on Sunday, or I'll see you around town sometime before then. Have a good weekend, guys.